All right, guys, welcome to the second half of the MMAOB Daily Podcast for Monday, January 9th, 2023. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin, and this is Big Marcel. We're going to be doing some 2023 MMA predictions. We'll go through all the different weight classes in the UFC, talk about who we think will be the champion of the year. I don't know if, Marcel, did you get a chance to go back to the last one and see what our predictions were like? Did you get a chance?
No, I didn't actually.
Same here, and I should have did that just to see, but no worries. We could always talk about that next week, if anything. I should have did that, but I do want to get your thoughts, obviously, on the different divisions and stuff for this year. We'll go through all of them.
Can you put them on the screen?
I will. I just want to get Glenn's comment. Khabib stepping away. Yeah, I mean, seems like he wants out of the sport right now, and I don't know if that's going to impact his Eagle FC thing. Like, I wonder if that will change something there. But anyways, we're just going to go through the different weight classes, guys. Like Marcel said, I'll pull up the screen here, UFC website. We'll go through all the divisions, talk about who we think will be the champs, and etc. So pull that up here.
Pull up your screen or pull up your pants.
Okay, we'll start with flyweight, Marcel, men's flyweight.
Yeah.
Obviously, Figueiredo's the champ right now. He's going to fight Moreno in a couple weeks in their fourth fight. Win or lose, I just don't think he's going to be fighting at flyweight anymore. So I don't think he'll be the champ by the end of the year. That'll be my prediction right now. DK and Superbook have champ odds. Okay, let me pull up. Actually, I can't see the DraftKings odds because I'm in Ontario. We don't have any odds anymore, signed collectibles. So if you want to throw them in the chat, you can, but I can't see them. I don't, and this computer, I don't have a VPN on it, so I can't see them, unfortunately. Because again, UFC betting is banned in Ontario now because of James Krause. But anyways, Marcel, I'll give you my prediction. I think Pantoja will hold the belt. That'll be my prediction. Dark horse contender, a guy who I think is really good. And I think he can hold the belt by the end of the year. I think he'll be fighting someone like maybe Amir Albazi by the end of the year for the belt. That will be my prediction here. So that's my thought. What do you think?
Look at my face.
What about it?
That means I had the same.
No way, really?
Yeah.
There you go. And so does Marcus. That's interesting. So, collectibles, tell us what the odds are for Pantoja, because I do think he could be the champ. He's very good, very underrated. I think he's beaten Moreno twice already, if I'm not mistaken. So, I think him and Albazi could fight for the belt. That would be my
plus 400.
Plus 400. That's a decent bet, I think, anyways. 4-1 odds. Again, these are long shots, and so many things can happen. Like, look at Yuri. Imagine you bet on Yuri being the champ at the end of last year, and then he fucking gets injured. And
that sucks so hard. Yeah.
I know, right? No one's a champ. The books made tons of money there because no one went being the champ. But yeah, that's interesting. Both in Pantoja, Marcel.
What about me, dude? I pick Ankalaev as the champ.
I know. And he really should have won that belt. So, anyways, Pantoja is for me. Go to the bantamweight division. Obviously, Sterling's the champ right now. He's going to probably be fighting Henry Cejudo. The interesting thing is he's talked about moving up to 145. Like, he might not fight at 135 for much longer. This is another tough division to, I think, get a handle on because there's so many good fighters. Like, this division is ridiculous. It's just so stacked. Like, so many great fighters here. I'll take Merab, Marcel. I'll take Merab to win the belt. I just think the wrestling, whoever he ends up fighting, because I think Sterling will maybe beat Cejudo and then give up the belt and let his teammate fight for it against like Sean O'Malley, and I think Merab will win that fight. So, or even Marlon Vera, I think he'd win that fight too, just because of the wrestling. It wouldn't be exciting, but I think he'd win. You have Merab too?
If Alger leaves, I have Merab. If Alger doesn't leave, I think Piotr Jan might get it.
I get it back.
But he has to win 1 or 2 fights before, but maybe the end of the year, December. So, either that, I'm Merab or Piotr Jan. I want to know what Piotr Jan's
there's the odds
are.
Merab's plus 1,800. I mean, those are decent odds.
That's crazy.
Where's Jan's not even there, eh? That's interesting. Well, I guess they don't think he'll fight for the belt anytime soon because he lost, but Jan's plus 1,000. Okay. Merab is interesting at plus 1,800. I really do think he can win the belt, and I would favor him more than like Sean O'Malley. Like, Sean's good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he'll win the belt though. That's my opinion. I just think I know he beat Peter Yan. It was a close fight, but he won. But I just think if you fought Merab would just take him down, push him against the fence for 5 rounds. That's what I think would happen. And that's good. You got your money back and got voided because that's fair. I think that's the fair thing the books did. Lightweight belts come back to Australia. We'll talk about that division in a sec. Let's go to featherweight, Marcel. Right now, Volkanovski's the champ, but he is going to fight a super fight at lightweight, and he might, if he wins that fight against Islam, probably give up his belt, I would assume, and fight there full time. Another tough division because of the champion moving up right now. But truthfully, I don't know if he wins that fight, and he'll probably go stay at featherweight. And I would still favor Volkanovski against anyone in the division. I just think he's so good, and he's proven that. So I'll take Volkanovski. And again, if you type collectibles, if you don't mind throwing the odds up, I'd appreciate it. Just because I can't see them right now. Volkanovski, Marcel, that's my pick.
Yeah, same. I don't think he wins at 155. He goes back to 145, and I don't see him losing to Rodriguez or Emmett. So yeah,
for me so as well. That's what I think too. No odds for 145. Okay, no worries. Okay, lightweight. Let's go to lightweight. Islam's the champ right now, and I think he'll be the champ at the end of the year. Yeah. Just too dominant, and it'd be interesting to see him fight like a Dariush or even a Fiziev, but I still think he beats those guys probably, and I think he'll probably fight 2 times this year. He'll fight against Volkanovski, probably win that belt, and then defend the belt, and then he'll probably fight Dariush later in the year and probably defend the belt again. So that's my thoughts.
From a grappling perspective, the Dariush fight is appealing, but that's it. If you look
at both Ali Abdelaziz guys, right? So he's gonna get his guys paid.
Oliveira's not going to win a rematch. I think Poirier's not going to win. Gaethje's not going to win. I don't think Dariush wins, but they can give him a decent fight.
I think Fiziev is the interesting guy to me.
I think Chandler gets smashed against Islam Makhachev, to be really honest.
Me too, but what about Fiziev, though? He is kind of interesting, right?
No, I think Makhachev is way better grappler than Fiziev. I think Fiziev is good, but Fiziev has probably the advantage stand-up, but I don't think Makhachev will allow him to stand up.
When are they going to take Demir out of the rankings? I mean, he's retired now, right? They should take.
He's still in the USADA pool, as far as I know. And I actually asked, and I asked, is he retired? And I felt like his team was kind of surprised with it as well. So
there you go. I think Topuria. Oh yeah, Topuria is great too. But I mean, he'll probably. I don't know if he'll fight for the belt this year. That's the thing, right? So Islam's minus 185. That makes sense. If Volk's on 3 more title defenses, would he officially be greatest featherweight all time? I mean, he might be there already, right? He beat Aldo. He beat Max Holloway.
He's not there yet.
He beat Max 3 times.
But he's not there yet.
He's close.
He needs more title defenses.
Yeah, because Aldo had so many.
Close.
Yeah, he's close. But you're right. Aldo had so many title defenses that even though he beat him, it's still Aldo's to lose. All right, welterweight. Obviously, Leon's a champ. He had that crazy knockout win. But I got to be honest, Marcel, I don't see him holding the belt by the end of the year. He's a great fighter and obviously, been overlooked for a while. But I think we both picked Khamzat last year. And
I'll do it again.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to pick him too, again. If he can get his weight in order and stay at welterweight, I just don't really see anyone beating him. Even Usman, I think he'll beat Usman. And Edwards, I think he definitely beats, and Covington and all these guys. So I think Usman probably wins the trilogy. That would be my guess. And then I think Khamzat will fight him and then take the belt from him by the end of the year. That's my guess. But again, he's got to make the weight. So this is kind of a risky one. I'd like to see the odds on this one. Here we go. I appreciate this, Sign Collectibles. Thank you. So Khamzat's plus 450. Oh,
Shafkat's bigger than Bilal. So
Bilal's not winning the belt. I'm sorry, but he's not. Colby is dead money there. I wouldn't take Colby at all. He's probably not going to fight until this whole legal situation is resolved with Masvidal. So we both have Khamzat again. This is interesting, Marcel. By the way, me and Marcel did not talk about this beforehand at all. And it's interesting that we actually have a lot of the same picks because we did not talk about this at all, right, Marcel?
We apparently just make sense,
Exactly. Bilal throwing away money. I agree. Just light your money on fire. All right, middleweight. Alex Pereira is the champ right now. Another tough one, another tough division because obviously he was losing that whole fight until the end, and he does seem to have Izzy's number. I'm guessing they'll do the rematch because Izzy kind of deserves it after all the title defenses. I honestly don't even know who'd win that fight. I do think that Whitaker's really good too. This is a tough division to call, man. Honestly, this one's really fucking tough. Then you have guys like Dolidze and Duplessis who are just killing it too at the bottom of the division. Ooh, this one's tough, Marcel. I guess I would have to stick with Pereira. I guess I would stick with them because I think that the power is just so devastating. I guess I'll stick with Pereira, but this is a tough division. See the odds on this one.
Disrespectful, but he's the most beatable champion in the UFC. And that's because he lacks the ground game, in my opinion. Although he got Adesanya to the ground, but still, The thing is, if there is a rematch, I think Adesanya beats him, But at the same time, I don't know for sure, man. I think Adesanya can get his belt back, and then Adesanya will probably stay there. But if not, I think Whitaker beats him, to be honest, man. Cannonier probably not. Vettori can beat him, dude. It's difficult, And Dolidze can definitely beat him if he gets him to the ground, I think. So, difficult, man. I would say it depends on what matchup they're going to make next. If they make the Adesanya one, it's difficult. If they make the Whitaker one, I favor Whitaker, but I don't think they do. So probably, I don't think Pereira stays champion, to be honest. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one for me. Like honestly, I think Whitaker's a chance too, but I also feel like he would get knocked out if he fought Pereira. I think it really depends on what happens in the rematch between Pereira and Adesanya. If Whitaker was middleweight champ, Hamzat was the welterweight champ, moving up, who would you guys have there? Listen, Whitaker's got great takedown defense, but I would probably pick Hamzat too. I mean, Hamzat's another guy that could win this division. If you can't make the weight at 170. All right, 205. There's no champ right now. We obviously have Glover taking on Jamal Hill. That's a tough fight to call, honestly. I need to think about that fight more. By the end of the year, who's going to be the champ? I guess I'd go with Ankalaev too, but it just seems like the UFC hates the guy for some reason. But I'd still have to go with him. I do think he's the best light heavyweight, and according to the odds, it stays vacant. That's funny. According to the odds, Ankalaev is favored here, Marcel. So
can I say something crazy?
Yeah.
Where do you put Bo Nickel at middleweight?
That's a really interesting one. I just don't think he'd fight for the belt yet. I mean, he's only got what he has.
I agree.
He hasn't fought in the UFC yet, right?
No.
So he's going to fight Jamie Pickett apparently in his debut. I remember I predicted that fight. I was like, they're going to give him some shitty fighter like Jamie Pickett. No offense to Jamie, but he's not that good. He wins that fight. He probably fights. I think honestly, like if he fought like a Darren Till, he'd win that fight right now. No doubt in my mind actually. I think more like he'd be like a 2024 or 2025. But I don't think this year he'd be winning. Bo is plus 1,400. I don't think he'll fight for the belt. But again, you never know because Pereira fought after 3 fights in the UFC for the belt. He won it, so you never know. All right, let's go to heavyweight. Nagano's a champ right now.
I also have Ankalaev, by the way, at light heavyweight.
I figured you did. At heavyweight, Nagano's a champ. And this one's interesting because I think he's got 1 fight left in his contract. You don't know if he's going to fight again. John Jones might fight. This is a fucking weird division too. My hunch is that Nagano fights someone and then ends up leaving the UFC, and I think Cyril Gane will fight for the vacant belt and win it against somebody later on this year. Cyril Gane would be my pick, Marcel. I'd like to see the odds on this one too. Here we go. Gane's plus 550. I kind of like that. John Jones, I mean, he might not fight again. I don't know. Anyways, what's your pick?
Cyril Gane as well.
Jesus, all of our picks are the same. This is crazy.
He's the most complete fighter in the division, in my opinion. And many people will write him off now because he lost to Ngannou on the ground. But although he said he expected Ngannou to take him down, I don't think he expected that at all. And I think he would be better prepared. And Ngannou just outstrengthened him. I feel like Gane is probably, and that sounds really weird, but Gane is probably the most beautiful heavyweight we've seen the last couple of years. And with beautiful, I mean beautiful striking. Style is beautiful, for a heavyweight, So, Gane, I think, would be an amazing champ for the UFC as well.
Watt says Blades. I mean, it's interesting. Like, he's also another guy that, is good. Anthony's plus 6,000. He's a backup fighter. Anthony Smith, I don't really see beating a lot of these guys. Something else with Prochaska, the 64 you saw tested relinquishing the belt. I don't know, man. I think he fucked his shoulder up. I think it's people were there and they saw it, but I don't know. Oh, here's the opener. Imavov's minus 170. Interesting. I think the odds will flip. It's already down to minus 125. I'm looking at it right now. They didn't. I don't know about that opening odds. The early money's coming in on Strickland. Now it's minus 125. Imavov plus 105 Strickland. I favor Strickland a little bit in that fight, so it's interesting. Blades is plus 1,800. Okay, it's interesting. All right. Nagano PFL, maybe. I mean, he's got, like I said, 1 fight left in his deal. If he goes to PFL, he wins $1 million easily. No doubt in my mind. All right, women's strawweight. Zhang is going to be the champ by the end of the year. I'm guessing you have the same one.
Yeah, because the talented up-and-coming women are still not ranked in the top 15, in my opinion, strawweight, man. I'm really high on Jasmine Horegi, as you know. She's not ranked yet, so I think something for 2024, 2025 maybe. I don't see anybody beating Zhang, and I don't think Rose will fight her for the 3rd time. I also have Zhang.
Yeah. All right, so flyweight's interesting. Women's flyweight. Valentina's a champ.
Sorry.
Looked very beatable against Santos. I don't think she won the fight. A lot of us don't think that. Still a great champion. We don't know I think she's going to fight Manon Fiorot. That seems like the fight that would make sense because Or maybe a Max Grasso?
Although Fiora stated like a week ago that she wants a main event fight against a contender before fighting Valentina.
Well, if the UFC offers it to her, she's going to have to take it, I think.
Yeah.
Tyla's fighting Erin Blanchfield. I think Tyla wins that fight. You know what, Marcel? I'll take Tyla Santos. I think she's going to be Erin, your girl, and then I think she'll get the belt by the end of the year. So, and also Tatiana Suarez. That's another one. That's interesting because she's going to fight Montana De La Rosa, wins. But again, I think she'll have to wait till next year. But the UFC will probably push her up the ranks quick. I'm going to go with Santos to Marcel because I honestly think if she didn't get that eye injury in the fight, she would have won the fight, in my opinion. So, we'll see. What's your pick?
I don't talk to you anymore since you say Santos going to win against Blanchfield, but yeah, it's I'm just kidding. It's difficult, because you got the Blanchfield fight obviously against Santos, well, you got Murphy against Andrade, and the division you have Araujo against Amanda Ribas coming up, Maya against Casey O'Neill. So there are a lot of fun fights going on in that division. And it depends on timing as well. If you look at Tyla Santos, if she wins against Blanchfield, she probably gets a rematch. But will Valentina not be better prepared than the first time when she fought against her? I don't know. If Blanchfield wins, she probably gets a title shot, how crazy it sounds,
Yeah.
But can she beat Shevchenko? Maybe, but I'm not sure, I'm going with the safe pick. I say Valentina still champion.
There you go. And then finally we got, well, I guess there's two divisions, but the women's featherweight division I think is going to be dead soon anyways. We'll go with women's bantamweight though. Yeah, I'll stick with Amanda Nunes.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So this is interesting because we really didn't talk about these fights at all, and then we ended up picking a lot of the same fighters to win the belt. That's really crazy, Marcel. I guess great minds think alike, or maybe stupid minds think alike, but we'll see what happens by the end of the year. Aaron's plus 1,200, Grasso plus 1,800. Yeah, they all have a chance. I don't like the odds here on Valentina though. She's a great fighter, don't get me wrong, but I think someone else will win the belt. I really do think she can lose. Who should fight next for?
Should have been Santos in my opinion, but yeah,
should have been Santos. But I guess it'll be Grasso then, right? If Fro doesn't want it, it'll probably be Grasso, I guess. But Grasso's been in the UFC for a while. She's fought the Spars and other champions before, so Nunes is a big favorite to win. I do think she'll probably keep the belt. Got to consider Shevchenko 135. That's true, Glenn. You're right. Because Glenn, you know what, Glenn? If she goes and beats Fiorot or Grasso, maybe she'll end up vacating the belt and move up to 135. I don't know for sure, but I'm just saying it's possible. Valentina's a great fighter. Don't get me wrong. I thought she looked really beatable in that last fight. Hey Emma, how's it going? We talked about it on the first podcast, so it's obviously extremely short notice for Strickland. Again, the odds came out, and I'm just looking at them right now, and it's minus 110 each now. I think the odds makers didn't do a good job with the opening line. No offense to them, but they opened at minus 170. Now it's already down to a pick 'em. Again, I think Strickland should be slightly favored to win this fight. That's my initial gut instinct, and a close fight, but maybe minus 130 plus 110. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So my initial thoughts were Strickland by decision. I don't know, Marcel, is that what you're? What did you say again? I can't remember who you said.
Yeah, I picked Strickland by decision.
Yeah, so we both have the same thoughts on that one. And this pays Guram. Guram's really good, but he got injured, right? He's not going to fight Thiago Moises anymore.
Apparently, it's staph. So
staph infection. Sorry, not injury. It's illness. Guram and Hooker. Guram wins that fight. I'll take Maribek Taisumov. He's great, but again, he didn't stay active enough, and now is he retired or he's fighting in Europe or something? I can't remember.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's kind of
he was great, eh? He was awesome. Yeah. He only had one loss. I want to say it was to Pereira?
He got stopped by Carlos Diego Ferreira as well.
Yeah, but remember the Prazeres fight? I want to say he's decisioned him. It was a big upset at the time, but the guy looked great. He was knocking everyone out. He's really good. But yeah,
he fought here in Rotterdam, man, against Felipe Silva. He knocked him out in 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's dangerous as hell. But again, actually, he hasn't fought in 3 years, so I guess he's probably done. That's too bad. What was your fight of the year for 2022? It was for me, Yuri and Glover.
Clearly.
Yeah,
second, Gilbert Burns, Chimaev.
That was a great fight. But I think Yuri Glover was just one of the best fights of all time.
5-rounder championship fight, yeah.
The finish with 30 seconds left. I remember I was on vacation at the time. And we did the podcast in the morning. Remember that? That was last June. And I just remember being amazed. I couldn't even sleep that night because the fight was so fucking good. I was like, oh my God, this fight's amazing. So here's another question. Who do you think Patty's next opponent would be? I love
somebody he can beat.
I don't know. I really don't know.
Let's put it this way, many people say they have to build him up. He's still young. he was a former Cage Warriors champion, and if you look at who they've put Jai Herbert against so far in the UFC, and now um, he's fighting Ludovic Klein. For example, it's another crazy matchup in my opinion. And Paddy probably gets somebody who they think he can beat. Still with a solid record, but who they think he can beat, or we can look good against in London. So really wonder what they're gonna do, man. Because probably a veteran, I think, because. Honestly, because of that win against Gordon, they have to give him somebody notable right now. If he lost to Gordon, they could have got him some more, kind of 50-50 kind of guy, who doesn't really belong in the UFC. But now actually they can do that. But let's see what they can do. If they give him Mark Madsen, he's fucked. I tell you that already.
Mark Madsen probably just takes him down decisions.
Yeah.
Most likely, even though he's an older guy. Armin would beat him. Ikram Aliskirov. Yeah, I don't know. That guy was contender. Matt Freville does make kind of sense because he's called him out in the past. Even that's a tough fight. Matt Freville wasn't great lately. I don't know, man. Paddy just looked beatable to me against Jared Gordon. I don't think he won. None of us did. Let's be honest. My prediction is Hooker, Gamrot, McCann, Armin, Turner, Dawson. Thoughts? I'm good with all those fights. I think Drew Dober called out Turner, so I'd rather see that. But Dawson's really good too. I don't know. Do you want to talk about Bellator quickly, or do you have any thoughts on Bellator? I honestly don't know. Like, I mean, a lot of their guys, I think are beatable and stuff. So,
but also probably a lot of the guys who are in the bottom of the top 10 are still like prospects, very young, or haven't fought anybody. So it's really hard,
I agree with that. I agree. It's not the easiest to call. Was there anything else you want to talk about, Marcel? Was there and you guys can, if you guys have any questions, we'll take them right now. Is there anything else that
There's another question there, man.
Okay, let me get the question.
Pedo. Sorry.
Hey, Pedo. Shara Putin Nagomedov. Who is this guy?
Yeah, he got signed by the UFC recently. He's undefeated, and there's a clip of him, I think in Dagestan, where he gets in a fight with somebody on the roll stairs, or however you say that, and then he sucker punches him outside and kicks him while he's down. Because he kissed with
yes, I remember this guy now. Yeah. That's a fucked up. Did he kill the guy? I can't remember, but it was.
I don't think he did. No.
It was really bad though. I remember. Yeah, he punched the guy. I remember that. Yeah, interesting signing. I guess I don't know a lot about the guy other than that video that I saw. I don't know. I honestly couldn't even say. But that video wasn't exactly flattering. I'll just say that. But apparently the guy can punch. So. It was a cheap shot. But yeah, was there anything else, Marcel, that we here's a good. This is okay. There's some good questions here, guys. You guys got some good ones. Thank you for the questions. We're gonna get them in 1 second. So, someone asked about Jake Paul. We didn't talk about that either. Jake Paul signed with PFL. That's interesting. Didn't expect that. Does he fight in PFL this year? Probably by the end of the year. Yeah.
Next year.
You think next year?
They said next year, 2024.
Okay. I mean, does he have any wrestling? I know his brother's a good wrestler. Does Jake? They'll give him someone that's just like a striker with like one fight or something. They'll give him someone with like little experience, I would guess. He's saying Nate Diaz. I mean, if he fights Nate chokes him out like really easily. Nate destroys him. I mean, I in boxing it's a little different, I guess, but in UFC, I mean, I would take Nate. I know that's what he wants, right? He wants a boxing match and an MMA fight. I would take Nate. We got Alex in the chat. Alex, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. Also, let me just get this. I saw this question. Tofik is really good, but I like Mansour too. They're both good in Bellator, and honestly, the UFC should have signed those guys. Here's a great question: make a trade between UFC and Bellator. Love it. Love the question. Obviously, you have to look to
which promotion does it have to be beneficial?
You have to look to the champs, I think. I look at some of the champions.
AJ McKee.
He doesn't love, I don't think, being in Bellator, so he's the guy. I like Johnny Eblin. I think he's really good. But the thing is, you'd have to think of a trade, right? Like who's I guess you have to look at like who doesn't want to be in the UFC anymore. We know Francis, he's a little upset about it. And that's the one guy I'm kind of thinking about, Francis. Pierre Yan as well. That's another guy too, because obviously he was pretty upset. I don't know, Marcel. This is a really good question, Alex. I honestly need to think about it more. you have any thoughts, Marcel? Like anyone?
Definitely AJ McKee. But from the UFC, that's a hard one, dude.
And Goliath, he doesn't want to be there either.
Yeah, but what does Ankalaev need to be in Bellator, man? I don't really need to see him in Bellator.
Yeah.
That's difficult, man. It's really difficult.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a good question, Alex, but it's a tough one to answer. Is there a prospect you want to sign UFC to sign this year? Ooh, another good question. Marcel probably knows more than me about this one. Is there anyone, Marcel?
I say for years Yusuf Raisov, but he recently lost. But I think he's an amazing guy, an amazing fighter. I still would say Raisov. He's great, man. He's been a fighter I've been looking out for years to be on the big stages, but he's still fighting at ACA. So.
Yeah.
Difficult. Do we have a Cage Warriors guy? Yeah, they recently signed that Christian Leroy Duncan guy who I'm pretty high on.
He's good.
George Hartwig is also pretty good. He has also a brother in Cage Warriors. He's also a champion. The George Hartwig guy. He's really good.
Yeah, there's some good guys in Cage Warriors. They'll probably sign some of those champs. They always do. I was talking about the guy that fought Ali's son. I can't remember his name, but the guy was terrible. Gaethje versus AJ for AJ. Holloway versus AJ. Yeah, Holloway's another guy too. I mean, he's kind of in a bad spot right now, right? He'd have to really hope that Volkanovski wins the belt, or
and Bellator has those Hawaii cards, right? So.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That actually kind of is interesting. Yeah. That's Holloway for AJ. I kind of feel like that favors Bellator, that trade, but I'd like to see another trade in MMA though. I thought the Askren and Demetrius Johnson trade was really cool. I'd like to see another one. So I think it's a great question by Alex. I love the question. MVP, I don't want to see in the UFC. He's the most overrated fighter in MMA, probably. The guy lost to Mike Perry and bare knuckle too. Bellator have to add a first round draft pick. Exactly. You have to be like more draft picks to even up the value. He's talking about middleweight. Boynickel, this Bullet guy, and then Ikram. Yeah, there's some great prospects there. Saladin Parnasse.
Legit KSW.
Where's he from? KSW?
He's a French guy.
He's fighting for the belt coming up. Is that the guy?
Yeah, I think he fought for a second one, actually.
Yeah. Okay, I saw it today. I know KSW announced something today as well, so that's interesting.
It's really good.
Yeah. Any other comments, guys, or questions? We'll take them really quickly before we get out of here. But I appreciate everyone obviously tuning in today, for both the podcasts. And we'll be back next week too. We're going to recap UFC, and then I guess we previewing the pay-per-view, right?
Yeah, 283.
Great question from Antoine. I think Shavkat challenges for the belt by the end of the year. Another win puts him at 6 in the rankings. Yeah, Jeff Neal would be a big win for him. And I do think he probably beats Jeff. It's kind of a bad fight for Jeff, in my opinion. Shavkat's definitely a dark horse for the belt. He's great.
You saw Jeff Neal's conversation with me on Facebook. So he posted the fight is back on UFC 285, March 4th at the UFC Apex. I was like, I think it's in the T-Mobile arena, dude. It's a pay-per-view fight, And he's like, you're probably right. You know more than I do. So I was like, no.
That's awesome.
I was like, dude, I'm just happy to fight.
Save probably signed the contract for him and just told him you're fighting on the state.
Yeah.
Imagine between Shera and Cedric Duambe. Yeah, the Duambe guy is interesting, but he got released, right? The UFC released him.
Yeah, my how do you say, my colleague Dennis said on the Dutch podcast a few weeks ago that he actually still has a contract with Glory. So
right.
He pretty much signed with the UFC while he still had the contract there. So Doumbé, he really wants to go to the UFC, but he also has to do more. He actually got another win in the first round by knockout in France in December. So he's 3-0 now. I think he's building his record so he can get to the UFC in the future,
UFC ever make an interim heavyweight belt since France has been active for almost 12 months? They might, but I think they want him to fight one more time, get that last fight of his contract. Anders or Arnold Allen, haven't heard anything, but Arnold Allen's another dark horse, I guess. Share a Blood Diamond, I guess that'd be fun. Where can I watch Share interview? I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe Marcel knows. Anyways. Marcel, I think I'm pretty good for the show. You want to is there anything else you want to talk about? Or you're good? Because I'm pretty good right now, to be honest with you.
I don't know where we have to talk about it at this moment. I think we've been through pretty much.
Covered so much today, yeah. Yeah. Oh, here's the last comment, I guess. This is the last question I'll take, guys. Any picks for Terry and Hua? I think Hua, yeah. I mean, Shogun's, obviously a legend, but it's tough to pick him here. Although I think it's winnable. Pateri got
knocked out. It's definitely winnable. Yeah.
It's a winnable fight. So
I think so too.
Yeah. So, anyways, guys, we'll talk about that fight next week when we do the UFC 283 preview. I want to say that's the preview. Wow, crazy.
Yeah.
All right, guys, follow me on Twitter at MMAdamMartin. Follow Marcel on Twitter and Instagram, BigMarcel24. Also, Bokies.com. My best bets coming up this week, and IMAnews.com for some news, and then obviously MMAOddsBreaker.com. Like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about the podcast, guys. You can download it on Spotify, Apple Store, everything like that where you listen to your show. Again, Marcel, fun stuff, and we'll be back next week. And hope you guys have a great weekend and great week, and enjoy the fights, guys. We're finally back to UFC. All right, take care, everyone. Bye.